King Cyrus's fatherhood. At noon, Robert high, like only he could. The fables are bizarre but good. It's Smith
Understood.
Hey.
No.
Hey.
Why?
You're looking very smart in those glasses.
It's a facade. There's no lenses. No,
Oh, are there no lenses?
No, I just made them dirty by trying to poke through it.
Well, hey, thanks for listening to another episode of Myth Understood with me, Paul Bianchi, and her, Sarah Oliver.
So smart.
So smart. So smart that Sarah Oliver she is.
If I were to take these glasses off and shake out this ponytail, you would explode in boners.
That's accurate. Implode.
Implode, explode.
Yeah.
We'd all be dead.
So Sarah,
What?
how do you feel about justice?
It gets me fired up, and there ain't enough of it.
There ain't enough justice. Yeah.
No.
That's actually the topic of today's myth, or justice is a myth.
It really is. It really is.
This myth that I'm sharing today, after I read it, I didn't really understand why it had endured the way that it does.
Yeah.
But the cultural context behind it is that in the ancient times of Egypt, a common person getting any semblance of justice was very difficult.
I can imagine that, yeah.
And that the reason that the story has endured is that it's a story of a common man achieving justice in the very primitive judicial system of the ancient times.
Yeah, I'm imagining that they're not having a trial of their peers.
No, it's not.
It's just a trial full of sneers by the rich.
Oh boy, you're ready with the dad jokes today, aren't you? Yeah, I've had a lot of like stupid instances with justice out here because like justice does fire me up, and there's like, of course, like very like serious issues of justice that occur, but there's also like this is one that will always stick with me. Like this is
The
one
towing?
Yes, the towing.
I knew it. I just told the story like 2 days ago.
About my towing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sarah and I used to do Second City Hollywood, and back when it was a building that existed.
Yeah.
Died during the pandemic, as like a lot of things.
Yeah.
And there was this spot on the street that I would always park on that was safe.
It was once a meter, but someone like decapitated a meter,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of what there's like a semblance of a pole left.
Yeah, it was like a technicality space that was like,
which in LA you are allowed to park at a broken meter.
Yeah.
And just not pay because it's broken and you're not supposed to get ticketed for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was also a sign on the street that said you can park in this direction, but you after a certain time you can't park in the other direction. And this spot was right after that sign. So it was in the last safe spot before it.
Yeah.
But like routinely on this street, every car after that, after 6 o'clock, would just get towed in a big line. And it happened like every single day. Like,
yeah. And no one's more poor in LA than people hovering around comedy theaters.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Comedy students.
And one day my car was towed along the line of all those cars.
After we did a show together,
After
remember?
we did a show, and it was after months and months of successfully parking there and never being towed before.
Right. It was your spot, really.
It was my spot. And I had to go to the tow place, and you
went toe to toe with the tow place.
And when you pay to get your car out of the towing place, you basically have to sign an admission of guilt that says like, I'm paying to get my car out of here, and I'm paying because I admit
Stupid
that
bitch. It says that exactly.
Yeah. And it sets you up to not be able to properly argue your case later on if you want to get that money back. And it's expensive. It's like $300. So that's my like small like personal annoyance version of justice, which is like so minuscule in the grand scheme of things that are actually unjust in the world, but like it's such like it's such I think a symptom of like larger problems with justice in the world.
Well, yeah, it's like the little guy is always going to get shit on. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And you're just a little boy.
I'm just a little boy.
You're just a little baby.
Yeah, but it's like, then, I was with my friend when he was pulled over just for being black. Like I was in the car, and like I was like, I will always check myself and be like, the towing is such a nothing compared to like my buddy who like has to watch out for what could happen to him at all moments of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a little justice story right there.
And
a little justice talk.
Rampant.
Yeah. So this is a little justice story. It's a tale from the 9th Dynasty.
Starring Judge Judy or Judge Joe?
Starring
Which JJ?
High Steward Merui Tensa.
Oh, I love their show.
Yeah. Merui Tensa. I was trying to do Mathis.
I didn't know that he had a song.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have lyrics, but I invented lyrics in that. It just goes do 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 do. But I always like Mathis.
Oh, speaking of comedy improv dummies, if you want to know an inside comedy community thing, a lot of the people that go on those court shows are just improvisers that want money.
Yeah.
And, yeah. A lot of times I got a casting
Don't ruin the
notice.
illusion. It's all real.
Okay.
All right. So the story about the robber and his asses.
Asses or assets?
Asses. His multiple asses.
Oh, the donkey.
Mm-hmm. So in the Salt Country, there dwelt a secti. And a secti is a old word for peasant. And he lived there with his family, and he made his living by trading in salt and other products of his country. And so that's character 1. He doesn't have a name. Should we name him?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name?
Okay, so he's a salt of the earth?
Yeah, he's a salt of the earth fellow.
Okay, so what's just like a Midwestern name?
Philip?
That's kind of fit. That's upper echelon. There's a Prince Philip fool. No.
Okay.
Well,
don't ask me if you're not going to take my suggestion.
Henry. Well, that's so British. Okay, yeah, Henry.
Okay, so he's Henry. And now by the canal, there dwelt a man whose name was... So there's Henry, and this guy gets a name. His name was Tehudinecht.
Ooh, that's a very nice name. And he's also salt of the earth?
He's not.
He's fancy.
The son of Asri, who was a serf to the high steward Merutensa.
Whoa.
So he is a little bit salt of the earth in that he's like a servant, but he's like a palace servant.
So he's like lower middle class.
Yeah, he's higher station than our friend Henry.
Got it.
And Henry, not Henry, Tehudinecht wanted more riches in his life. And when he saw Henry traveling with his wares, and he saw his abundance of asses that he traveled with, the story goes, his evil heart coveted the beast.
Oh, so we're painting quite the picture for Tehudinecht.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And all of the goods that they bore. And so he decided
salty asses.
to call to the gods to tell him how to steal from Henry as he passed.
Well, that wouldn't be very benevolent. So of course they don't answer.
Well, there's gods for everything.
Yeah.
So, if he wants to, Set...
Who's the klepto god?
Well, Set wanted to kill Osiris and become king of the gods.
Okay. This is the covet god.
Sure. I actually don't know if there's a klepto god, but I'm just trying to choose.
No, covet.
Covet?
Yeah, you covet. He's coveting that salt in those asses.
He's coveting the salt and asses. And through his prayer, a plan is conceived.
They don't say which god answers?
No, they don't say that.
Oh.
And he says, I will take my shawl and spread it across the path. And so if that secti who's coming this way drives his asses over it, then I can easily pick a quarrel with him for ruining my clothing. And then he says, oh, actually, if he's nice, though, he might ride around it. So I'm going to put my corn on the ground next to the path. And if he drives his asses over my corn, then I can also pick a quarrel with him because he's ruining my food.
Corn coral.
Yeah, have a corn quarrel. So the secti starts, or Henry rather, starts carrying down the path. And as he gets closer, he notices that there's a shawl strewn across the entirety of the road. And he's like, that's a long shawl. And he starts to slow because he's like, what is this? It seems like a trap.
Yeah.
And Tahutineck is like, hold, traveler. Surely you do not intend to drive your beasts over my clothing.
Well, you can pick it up. Go ahead, pick it up. I'll wait.
Well, and Henry says, well, I'll try to avoid them.
No.
And he starts to drive his asses off the road and travel around, and he sees the line of corn now across the path.
This is the number one, the first ever insurance fraud.
Yeah, and he says, "Do you then drive your asses through my corn?"
Well, why is it here? Why is it here? This is a road.
And Henry does kind of say that. He says, there is no other way. You have blocked the path with your shawl, and I must leave the path, and there is your corn here. What do you want me to fucking do?
Yeah.
Tahutineck. I actually don't know your name yet, but you look like a Tahutineck.
He's got a name tag on because he's a concierge, right?
Yeah. And as they argue about what's going to happen there, the donkeys are like, hey, there's corn on the ground, and they just start eating it.
Sure.
And he's like, behold, your ass is eating my corn. I will take your ass, and he shall pay for the theft.
I will take your ass to court. This is the first time someone ever said those words.
Yes. And Henry says, shall I be robbed in the lands of the Lord Steward Meritensa, who treateth robbers so hardly? Behold, I will go with him. I will not suffer this misdeed of thine. So that's kind of what happens, is that the Tahutineck says, fuck you. I'm taking your ass right now.
Wait, what?
And if you...
That's not a fair trade, clown. Let me give you some salt. Throw some salt in his eyes.
He says to him, I am the servant of Lord Steward Meritensa. So even if you bring this complaint to him, I work for him. He's my word extends. His word extends to me, and I am the one who gets to take these things, and nothing bad will happen to me. Tough luck, Henry.
This is the only time violence makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would punch him.
So he steals not only his one ass, but he takes all of them.
Wait, what?
And drives them away and leaves Henry crying in the corn.
Oh.
Yeah. So he starts sobbing, and Tahutineck hears him crying. So
okay, so we have a corn on the sob.
A corn on the sob. That's exactly what's happening. So Tahutineck listens to him sobbing in the field and says, you know what? My heart is darkness anyway. I don't care about him at all. And,
oh wow.
And he leaves him to cry.
Oh wow, I thought he was gonna have a change of heart, but it just got even darker.
It just got even darker. And he yells out to him, but as he's leaving, I will send you to the demon of silence if you continue to complain.
That's like great.
And Henry says, "Oh, I don't even know what that is,
No.
but that sounds terrible."
No one knows what that is.
And he follows him all the way back to his house in the town.
So he's pissed.
Knocking on the doors, like, "Please give me my asses back. Like,
Aww.
I don't have a job. My wife and my children will starve. Like, you're really ruining my life here." And he's just doing the not listening thing inside his house.
Demon of silence coming up. Coming in hot.
And so he decides to petition Lord Steward Miratensa instead.
His boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when he runs into the Lord Steward, he finds that the Lord Steward is getting off of a boat. That's a detail that I don't know why it matters, but he's getting off of a boat.
Well, maybe it depends. That's the mood he's in. Like, I just got off of a vacation.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
And he says, "Oh, you caught me at a good time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to my office right now. Here, I'm gonna sit in my chair, and please bow yourself to the ground and
Lower.
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 Tell me what your grievance is." And Henry tells exactly what just happened. He said, "Hey, your servant Tahutinecht laid a weird trap for me that was very intricate, and I don't understand why you did it. But the result was that he took my asses from me, and it's screwed up." And the Lord Steward is like, "Well, I don't really know what to do here, because
Why?
he's my servant,
So?
and I trust him.
What?
And if you have a witness, then maybe we can do something. Do you have a witness?"
I got this husk of corn here. You do the math.
And Henry's sort of lost here, because he's like, I don't have a witness, but listen, I've come to your land, and I've heard that you are the greatest of the greats. I've heard that you are.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Henry.
You've risen up from being an orphan, and you're a guide of the needy, and everything that he said was so eloquent.
He went into that guy's LinkedIn page before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That the Lord Steward was interested and very flattered in spite of himself.
Oh, yeah.
So he said, here's the thing. I know you don't have a witness, but maybe we can take this dispute to the king, Nebuchadnezzar, and see if he'll see your case.
Why? Why won't you just give me back my donkeys?
Well, it's complicated.
It's not.
It's complicated.
He put a shawl down.
It's complicated. And so they all go to have this trial in front of the king Nebuchadnezzar, and Lord Steward Miratensa says, "Behold, my lord, I have been sought by a sectee whose goods were stolen. Most eloquent of mortals is he."
Excuse me.
Well, because they all thought that the kings were descended directly from the gods.
Okay.
So
this is the boss is saying this.
Yeah.
But he just used the verbiage robbed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're admitting fault to your, I'm assuming, client here.
He says, "What would my lord do unto him?" And the king says very dismissively, he's like, "Do not answer his speeches, but put his words in writing and bring them to us, and see that he and his wife and children are supplied with meat and drink, but don't let him know who provides it. Just make sure that he's taken care of for the time being." And the Lord Steward did as the king commanded him. He gave the peasant a daily ration of bread and beer, and his wife sufficient corn to feed herself. They love corn, and her children. Corn. And but they didn't know where they came from.
They're just getting one of those like food delivery boxes that you get,
Yeah.
just insulated with ice packs.
But he still doesn't get his asses back. He still doesn't get any help here. So Henry goes to the judgment hall again and gives him and seeks his. He's like, "Can you please like, you said you put my statement in writing, but like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Let's do this again. Let's figure it out. Let's use persistence here." So it happens a second time, nothing happens. He gets sent away.
And he's going to the steward guy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Happens
wow.
a third time, nothing happens. And on the third time, the Lord Steward says, "You know what? We're going to beat you with sticks."
Okay. So yeah, he really did catch that guy in a good mood the first time.
Yeah. And Henry's like, "Oh, no, but I beat me with sticks if you want, but if my asses have been taken away, I have no livelihood and we're all going to die anyway. So beat me with sticks." So he comes a fourth time, a fifth time, a sixth time, endeavoring to give pleasant speeches to the open ears of a judge, but he can't do it. He's just getting beaten with sticks.
So like, and at no point the steward's checked in with his servant?
No.
Okay, cool.
So he did this 9 times.
Whoa.
And the 9th time, the Lord Steward sent 2 of his followers to Henry, and he was afraid that he was going to get just beaten again. However, this time the message was a reassuring one. Maritensa declared, he like comes around full circle, "I've been greatly delighted by your eloquence throughout all of this, and you've really taken these beatings with a smile on your face.
What?
We want your petitions to be written on clean papyri and sent to the king, and just like the king commanded. We're finally going to do this for you."
That's literally all I've asked.
Yeah. And the king received these speeches and was so pleased by them that he said, "Oh, this guy's clearly telling the truth. What's taken so long, and why were you beating him with sticks?" So he decided to rule that Tahuti Necht got taken all of his offices and property and give them to Henry the Second instead.
Wait, what do you mean all of his, like he gives him his job too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And thenceforth he dwelt at the king's palace with his family, and the Secti became the chief overseer for the king and was greatly beloved by him. So that's basically the story, and it's kind of a rough one to read if you can't tell. It's very, very old and it's jumbled. So but it's this tale of
persistence is key, even
if they beat you. Yeah.
Which I mean, I am sure back in those days too, they were quite literal about the message of like, just keep trying and you will literally be beaten.
Well, it is this like, it's funny even to call that one a myth because it feels like an account that's just been like passed down. But it also, I do think the elements of it that feel mythological are like the greatness of this king,
right? And
completely absolving him of any wrongdoing in this. It's just like, oh, I finally heard it. Oh, I will bless this man who was clearly wronged.
Yeah. And then like what a turn for Henry though, because now he's going to go where they're like, what a happy ending. He gets to work for his abuser.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, it seems like he doesn't work for Maritensa.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, he's just working for the king.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he just like,
but Maritensa gets to keep his job, even though he was ordering Henry to be beaten.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
That's normal for just like trust funds.
Yeah, he was just a
trust funder,
just upholding the law. Just like the peasants probably lying, beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we don't. I just am not satisfied that the bad guy didn't get anything really bad happen to him.
Did you want him to be thrown off a cliff like the matchmaker from the last episode?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's rewrite this ending. So, what's a good punishment for this guy?
I think that Tootie Neck should be laying across a road and have a dozen donkeys walk across him.
Ooh, I like that. With covered in a shawl and a piece of corn stuck in every orifice of his body.
Okay, well, so you're out for more blood than me.
Yeah. Okay. Not.
And I think that Miratensa should have lost his job too.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Been like, hey, you aren't doing the things I asked of you, so you are also corn in all of your orifices.
That's the go-to Sarah punishment.
It's actually not that unpleasant. I can say that, but
You sound like you speak from experience.
No, I'm just talking about like of all the things to have, shoved up your ass. Is corn that bad?
Yeah, against your will.
No, I already told you this, and maybe I told misunderstood.
Go on. What is this?
But for some reason, I think I already talked about this on here, but I looked up when I was hanging out with Luis in Massachusetts, my friend's husband. I was like, what did they use before toilet paper? I just had this,
Oh, and that they
it was
used
corn.
Corn, yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah, it was corn. And so people actually must have enjoyed that sensation on there.
Anus.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I am the giver of justice, and I think that's fair.
Very good.
Do you need a lawyer?
Okay, is that how we're starting it?
Have you been in a car accident? Have you got mesothelioma? If you had your asses stolen from you?
Call the lawyers at Gruff Voice Incorporated.
Do you want the king to hear your pleas?
Just come to us 9 times, and we'll do it for you.
Have you been beaten by sticks? Well, you will be.
You will be by us.
That's gonna happen.
That's our promise here at the Lawyers of Gruff Voices.
And then we're gonna get you in front of the king, and we're gonna get you a promotion, brother.
Is it Hulk Hogan?
It just turned into it.
Well, there we go.
909090909.
That's not a number. That's just what he says. Hey,
became Mork from Orkall.
Nani, wait, what does he say? Nanny, nanny, nanny.
Nanu, nanu, nanu.
Nanu, nanu, nanu. And as you just heard, that is our beautiful producer, a Jake.
That is a Jake.
Hi, Mythfits.
Hi. That's what we are.
I was talking to the listeners.
Oh.
You guys aren't Mythfits. You guys are misunderstood.
Oh.
I just fucking blew your minds just then.
Ooh.
They're on the couch at the new Dragon's Den, the brand new Dragon's Den, and they're facing one another as if they're about to do like the leg wrestling competition.
Oh, I was thinking
do.
like we're in a little romantic canoe.
Leg wrestling. In a
That's
canoe.
what you're doing it. Jake, so much has been going on in the Dragon's Den. Can you tell us about some new things that have been happening?
Sure, yeah. Since Myth Understood has been on this hiatus with travels and cross-country drives on multiple occasions, the Myth Understooders here thought it would be nice if I popped in and said hello to everybody and caught everybody up. Dragon Rag Radio has moved. We are in the Dragon's Den 2.0 right now.
That's right. It is very yellow, and we love it.
And brown.
Yellow and brown.
Like corn.
Yep, that's what we were going for.
Corn
And asses.
poop, yeah. Oh.
Oh, you said poo. Oh no, it's poopy and pee-pee colors now.
It's not.
Anyways, yeah, Dragon Wagon Radio, since you guys have been on hiatus, we reached a milestone of our 5-year anniversary.
Yay!
In those 5 years, Dragon Wagon Radio has produced 19 different shows featuring 27 hosts with 551 guests over the course of 1,277 plus episodes that have been downloaded over a total of 4 million times.
Oh, wow.
And of course, Myth Understood, a very huge part of that. So one, thanks to all of the listeners who have continued to make Myth Understood such a super fun, popular place to hang out, a really great community, as you hear Paul and Sarah talk about the Discord community that is active. They don't pop in a lot. Let's just be perfectly honest.
I
kids.
do too. I do my stickers.
But but it is a great place to hang out and talk with other Mythfits. So again, if you're a fan of what we do here, I urge everybody to head on over to dragonwagonradio.com/support, where you can learn how to help this little podcast network that continues to grow it after 5 years. Also, if you guys have been thinking to yourselves, you know what? I constantly see crap out in the world that I want to send to Paul and Sarah. And by the way, you definitely do.
Please send it to me.
You can do that now because Dragon Wagon Radio has a shiny new P.O. box that I wanted to share here. You can send anything you would like to Paul and or Sarah, obviously, care of Dragon Wagon Radio at P.O. Box 481310, Los Angeles, California, 90048. Once again, that's a lot of numbers. P.O. Box 481310, Los Angeles, California, 90048, if you'd like to send them some stuff.
Yeah, maybe we can get like a written down and we'll do an Instagram post with it too.
Sure, you can do that.
Yeah.
You could
Send
send
me
us
boiling soup.
or shawls, corn,
I love fan art.
asses.
I love art.
hmm
I love fine art of corn and asses.
Wow. So Jake, there's
Yes.
I wanted to let you in on something. There's actually there's an
Ulterior
motive to having you on right now.
I gotta go. My hair curler.
There is no escape.
There is
No!
The bars drop down
The
behind him.
final myth.
Yeah. If you were paying attention to, 2 episodes ago, I mentioned that Callum and I are engaged, and
Truth.
we're having a wedding in July of 2023, and I wanted to formally ask you to be part of my side of the wedding party.
Paul Bianchi, I'm really busy. No, of course. Of course. That is incredibly kind, Paul Bianchi. I will gladly accept the honor. I assume a role that I will have is that of like security, something physical, right?
Yeah.
Just because of my large stature and extreme masculinity.
No, I'm actually getting the Junks battle warhound made so that you can wield that and just like beat up any motherfuckers that try to come in.
I am all about this. That's so nice of you, Paul. Thank you so much. That warms my heart. I really appreciate that. I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's I do have to say, Callum also asked me to be a part of it, so it's gonna be double duty, but I'll make it work. I promise.
Oh, like perfect. Yeah.
If you could just run back and forth in front of where the audience is looking,
especially if I'm wearing a kilt properly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if you could
Nothing
just
on
cartwheel
underneath it.
back and forth. Well, that's beautiful. I'm so glad that
thank you,
all
Paul.
of the
Yeah,
beautiful.
thanks.
You tricked
Thanks for
me.
being
You made me
a
do
part
it
of
on
it.
air.
Yeah, we made
You
you.
made me do it.
I was wondering if you were gonna break my heart on air.
Well, we'll wait. We'll talk. No,
Okay.
Well, that was beautiful. Good job, little baby boys.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being a part of that, and thanks for listening to today's episode of Myth Understood. If you liked what you heard, yay! You can you can continue to follow our antics on social media at _Myth Understood.
Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter and Instagram. You can find Sarah at the salad dressing. The Sarah.
In front of my salad dressing, guys.
The Sarah Oliver. You can find me at the Paul Bianchi. You can find Dragon Wagon Radio at It's Dragon Wagon. And you can find Jake Lloyd at
Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Jake Lloyd Bacon.
At Jake Lloyd Bacon on the tweets and the instas.
Find him shaking. That Jake Lloyd Bacon.
That's right.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that.
I don't know what's happening. Like Jake brought up, feel free to join our Discord community. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, and we love you.
We love you so.
Can I say it?
Yes.
Night-night.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on Coycast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on Coycast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.